Now type in, after you've typed in the 1 over x, now type in 1 over x plus 3. When you go to type in 1 over x plus 3, you have to be careful. You want to put parentheses around the x plus 3 part. 1 divided by all of the x plus 3. What happened to your graph?
Moved over to the left a little bit.
It went to the left 3. Went to the left 3. So now, I used to have a vertical asymptote sitting at 0. That will now be over here at x equals negative 3. If I move my graph to the left, does that change the horizontal asymptote? No. So we still have a horizontal asymptote on the y equals 0 line or the x-axis. But now my graph would be in this location and this location. Now, you can write your vertical asymptotes and horizontal down here, but I label them up on the graph. That's probably the easiest for us to do, but somebody else, what's 1 over x minus 3 going to do? So you can type in 1 over x, then type in the negative 3 after it. What happens? Some of you might even remember this from earlier. What happens to the graph? Just down 3. So the translation for this one is down 3.
No, it went to the right.
Minus 3.
This time I did not change the vertical asymptote. It stays put at x equals 0. But I did change the horizontal one. It's down here at 1, 2, 3. At negative 3. And then the graph would kind of be in this corner. So notice how I'm careful not to stop on and hit the line. I just follow it. And we'd have a graph like that. So you can write the things off the side or label them right on. We're good. Alright, so on the first one, what does it do when you put a negative in front of the function? Flip. Most of us probably are okay with somebody just saying flip the equation. But what that really means is that your y values flip. So when you plug in 1 to 1 over x, you get 1. Now when you plug it into negative 1 over x, you get negative 1. So instead of being up here, I'm down here. So the flip, you still have x equals 0. That can't change. If you flip the y value, or your y horizontal asymptote, nothing can change there either. So those two things don't change. It's just that the graph, instead of being in the first quadrant, now flips underneath the line, fourth quadrant. This one was down in the third quadrant. Now it flips up into this quadrant. So you should have a graph like that. The second one, now it has both a vertical and a horizontal movement to it. So what does the negative 2 do to our function? X minus 2 in the bottom is going to shift us to the right 2. Well, that means I should move my vertical asymptote to the right 2. What about our plus 4? That's going to move us up 4. So let's go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the multiplying by 3 on top, normally when I plug in 1, I'm at 1. Now if I plug in 1, I'd be at 3. So it's what we call a vertical stretch. But we're not gonna really worry about it, I just want you to know that this thing is in this quadrant here, and it's in this one here. I would rather know you know your translations up, down, left, or right, there is a slight change there. So write equation for each transformation of the parent function. So we're starting with this. If I tell you to translate it up 2 units, Jasmine, what would we do?
Is it up to?
Up 2 units. Does it affect the bottom or does it affect what's at the end of the function? Going up or down? Is at the end. So it's gonna look like 1 over x plus 2. Amanda, how do I get it to move to the right 3? Who knows?
1 divided by x minus 3.
In this case, the horizontal movements will end up in the denominator. Now, because of order of operations, I don't have to write those in parentheses. But things in parentheses, if you would write this like this, kind of like the circle, whatever you see in parentheses appears as the opposite movement on the graph. So when you see -3, I know people want to move it to the left 3 because -3 means to the left, but it's actually going to the right. So it's, when things are on the bottom, even if you don't write them in parentheses, order of operations would say it's in parentheses, so it's the opposite movement. Matt, do you know how to move something down 1 and left 4?
F of x equals 1 over x plus 4 minus 1.
1 over x plus 4, you said?
Yeah,
And what?
minus 1.
-1. So the plus 4 is on the bottom again, opposite. If it helps, put it in parentheses. Things in parentheses go opposite. Stuff at the end is exactly what it is, down 1. Rose, last one.
But this is, flipping it over the